books are pretty anti-social media when you actually get down to it. All the media that we've created, the rich media we've created in the last 400 or 500 years have been increasingly antisocial. And I'm going to be pejorative on this to a certain extent, but I'm trying to make a point, so don't throw things at me immediately. But there is nothing intrinsically social about a book. It's a way of conveying information. It's something that you have to do, but actually, like this person here, when you're immersed in books, it's very hard to be social at the same time. It's very much like apps on a phone for most people. It's about a distraction rather than about engagement in society. And that can be dangerous, as everybody in this room knows. So our other media haven't been much better. Movies, when movie theaters were invented, because of the limitations of the medium, it took people off the streets and away from communicating with each other into a dark room where they were all watching a screen, silent. They were silent, the screen wasn't necessarily after a while, or they weren't talking to one another until afterwards. Radio was somewhat similar. Again, it's a one-way linear narrative that we became accustomed to. Television, exactly the same thing. Now, rather than taken off the street, we're now taken into the living room. We all sit around a box and we all allow the box to entertain us, but we're meant to be passive. We aren't always that way, but largely it's an antisocial construct. And then the internet came along, and all of a sudden, you know, we moved from a huge box with lots of people around, the movie theater, to a small box in the living room with a few people around, and now we're in our room with the box that has, you know, our whole life on it. And we think that we're somehow or another being social, but actually it's a very antisocial activity. And actually the worst part of it is that then, of course, the social web came along, and it made us think that we were being social, when actually we were just talking to a box, and we were pretending to do social activities. And so all of those things were progressively removing us from a community core, from a social core. And it wasn't because it was deliberate or malignant, it was simply because of the limitations of the technology. And so where I'm getting to is that finally we have a medium in devices that we hold in our hand that have all of that richness, that huge library, all of the media, and it's walking around with us. But more than that, it understands our contexts. It understands who we are, where we are, what we care about, all the things we do, and it's got some frightfully exciting ways of gathering information about us. Exciting if, obviously, we're in control of them. Not so exciting if other people are in control of them. I'll talk about that a little bit later. And beyond that, it has ways of synthesizing across those things, which is where the shamanistic potentials come in. A shaman is somebody who allows communication, bridges between worlds. And the bridging of a traditional shaman was between a real world and a spiritual world. This device can bridge between not just my real world and a virtual world, but it can bridge between my real world and my social world. It can bridge between my real world and my private world. It can bridge between my real world and my subconscious world as well, through things such as semantic analysis of the things I'm doing and all kinds of other kinds of feedback systems. And it can bridge between all of those worlds at once. So it's a very adept potential shaman in terms of bridging those worlds and trying to do the, if you want, the healing practices between those. The question is, do we have the art to understand how to allow this device to do that? And that's one of the fundamental design questions that I care about.